Today, we're diving into Bravely Default 2 on the Nintendo Switch, a game that wears its love for classic JRPGs proudly on its sleeve, while trying to push the formula just a little bit further. If you ever wanted Final Fantasy mixed in with a bit of retro charm and some modern polish, this game might be just for you. But does it live up to the legacy of the series, or does it play things too safe? Let's find out. Bravely Default 2, developed by Square Enix and released in 2021, is the spiritual continuation of the Bravely series that started back on the Nintendo 3DS. At its heart is a love letter to old-school JRPGs, turn-based combat, jobs to grind, dungeons to crawl, and of course, crystals to collect. And honestly, it nails a lot of that. The job system is phenomenal, the music is top tier, and the battle mechanics are some of the most satisfying in the genre. But the story and characters don't always hit the emotional highs you might expect from a big Square Enix RPG. The story kicks off with Seth, our stranded sailor-turned-hero, who washes ashore in a mysterious world. He is quickly swept into an adventure alongside Princess Gloria, the last survivor of her fallen kingdom, who is trying to recover the stolen elemental crystals before the world falls into chaos. Joining them are Elvis, a scholar with a knack for comic relief, and Adele, a mercenary with her own secrets. Together, they're chasing after powerful items called asterisks. Defeat a boss with one of those, and your party unlocks a new job class. Everything from the classic white mage and black mage to quirkier options like Beastmaster or Gambler. On paper, it sounds like the perfect recipe for character-driven storytelling. But here's the thing. For a 50-plus hour game with only 4 main characters, you'd think we really know these people by the end. Instead, their development feels surprisingly thin. Most of what we learn about them comes from their banter, or how they react in situations, but the story rarely digs deep enough to make them unforgettable. Where the story stumbles, the combat absolutely shines. And honestly, this is where Bravely Default 2 earns a spot among the best modern JRPGs. The battle system is turn-based, kind of like Final Fantasy X, but with a twist. The core is the Brave and Default system. Defaulting means you guard and store up an extra action for later. Braving means you cash in those stored actions, or even borrow against future turns, to unleash multiple attacks at once. It's a risk-reward system that forces you to think ahead. Do you play it safe and save battle points? Or do you go all in into a massive combo and hope you don't get punished? Enemies can use the same system too, which make boss fights especially tense. One wrong move and you're wide open. The game keeps things fresh with clever enemy encounters. For example, some bosses will counter your healing spells with devastating attacks, meaning you can't just spam cure and coast. You actually need to think, adapt, and strategize. Combine that with the job system, and the customization is ridiculously deep. Every character can mix and match a main job and a sub-job, plus stack passive skill they have unlocked from their previous class. Want a monk that can heal? A bard that dishes out black magic? Or a thief that also wields holy spells? You can do it. It scratches that JRPG itch where experimentation feels rewarding. Visually, Bravely Default 2 looks great on the Switch. The art style is almost like a storybook come to life, with chibi-style characters running around beautiful handcrafted towns and dungeons. The lighting effects from the Unreal Engine gives it a surprising amount of atmosphere. I still remember the first time Seth lit his lantern at night, and the way the shadows dance across the environment. That said, there are dips in resolution and occasional stutters, especially when moving between handheld and docked mode. Not deal-breaking, but noticeable. The camera is also fixed, both in towns and dungeons, and it may feel restrictive at first, but it's clearly intentional. The game uses those angles to hide treasure chests and secret paths, almost like old-school JRPG map design. The cutscenes, however, are a bit stiff. Characters often just stand there and talk, which can make story beats feel less impactful than they should. Now the music deserves its own spotlight. Revo, the composer from the originally Bravely Default, returns here, and honestly, the soundtrack is incredible. From sweeping overworld themes to tense battle tracks, it's the kind of music that makes grinding encounters actually fun. It's easily one of the best JRPG soundtracks of the last decade. Exploring the world is fun, with varied dungeons that are just the right mix of straightforward and tricky. A neat side feature is the ship expeditions. You send out your boat while your Switch is in sleep mode, and when you come back, you get money, base and job experience, and permanent stat boosting items. It's like passive grinding, a lifesaver if you don't have hours to sit down every day. And surprisingly, cutting grass is one of the most addictive things in this game. Yes, you heard me right. Chopping grass can net you items and even rare equipment. In my first 10 minutes, I found a mithril dagger just from slicing grass. It's silly, but it makes exploration oddly rewarding. In the end, Bravely Default 2 is a game I'll easily recommend if you love classic JRPGs. The combat and job system are addictive, the music is phenomenal, and the art direction really nails that retro-modern balance. But it never quite reached the emotional highs of something like Dragon Quest XI. It's consistently good, but rarely amazing, like a really strong comfort food RPG. For me, Bravely Default 2 lands at a solid 8.5 out of 10. A must-play for JRPG fans, but don't expect it to reinvent the wheel. Thanks for watching. This is Dadozy Gaming signing off. Happy gaming!